Hi there, this is Mr. Sand, and now we're on to the last topic of this first unit, and it's called conversions. Now, in chemistry, you're going to learn a lot more about conversions, but in physics, we only really care about metric conversions. But I don't really care that we are only going to do basic metric conversions because I want to teach you how to properly convert something. And here's how to properly convert something. Let's say you've got something that you want to change in from meters into centimeters. It's a pretty easy conversion if you just know some mnemonics. But we're going to do this the old-fashioned way with the proper conversion way, which is called the factor label method. Here it is. Let's say you have this many meters, and you want to convert this into centimeters. So we don't know how many centimeters that is. You do know some facts about meters and centimeters. And here's a fact. For every 1 meter, there are 100 centimeters. What we can do with this is we can change this, since this equals this, we can change it into what we call a conversion factor. I always put parentheses around this. And this value up on top, the numerator, is the same as it's on the denominator. So what we could do is we say, oh, that even equals 100 centimeters over 1 meter. And the reason we do this is a very straightforward reason. We want to cancel out units. And to cancel out units, you need to have a unit in the top that you're converting and a unit in the bottom that you're using to convert it, so that way they will cancel each other out. There's a unit on the top and there's a unit at the bottom. By doing that, they will cancel each other out. So for this problem right over here, we can use a conversion factor. Think about which one you'd want to use. Would you use this one or would you use this one over here to cancel out the units of meters and to end up with a unit of centimeters? Well, let's set this up. This is how I would do it. Think about how you would do it. Start off with 2598.6 meters. And then you say, okay, multiply by a conversion factor. There's going to be something on the top and there's something on the bottom. The thing that I want to cancel out is meters. So I'm going to use the meters that show up in the bottom because I want to cancel them out. So it'll be 1 meter in the bottom and 100 centimeters in the top. This way, you will cancel out the units. Meters are crossed off, they're canceled. And our final answer is going to be this. 60 centimeters. That is our final answer. That way, if you set up things with a conversion factor, you will never get confused about dividing or multiplying. You will always get the right answer. You just have to know that 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. In physics, the most common conversions that we will use involve this. We use kilo, and then there's going to be some base unit. That can be kilogram, it can be kiloliter, it can be kilometer or kilometer. And you change that back and forth between the base unit, which is gram, liter, and meter. Sometimes you use centa in some problems, which is just, there's 100 centa in one of the base units. So 100 centigrams is 1 gram. 100 centiliters is 1 liter, and so forth. We also use micro sometimes. Micro is, let's see here, 1 times 10 to the 6. Micro, I shouldn't have put that right here. I'll erase it. 1 times 10 to the 6. Micro, let's just say micro liters, and this is the Greek symbol mu, equals 1 liter. So that's 1,000,000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 microliters in every 1 single liter. This is a conversion factor that you can use as well. And these base units right here, liters, grams, and meters, they're all interchangeable. You could say micrograms equals 1 gram, micrometers equals 1 meter, and so forth. This is how you convert. You set things up with a conversion factor, and then you cancel out the units that appear on the top and appear on the bottom. Let's go through some practice problems right now. I'm going to go through past the warm-up problems. Let me see here. Actually, no, I'm just going to do the one warm-up problem. Don't save. Okay. So here gives all the prefixes, the metric prefixes. Those are symbols. You can see that the micro one's a little bit weird. It's got the mu right there, the Greek letter. And this shows the equalities, or the conversion factors. So there's 1 gigameter in, look at how many of those zeros there. That's 1 billion meters. Just like bytes, there's 1 billion bytes in a gigabyte. This is mega. This is kilo or kilo. Killa. Sometimes it sounds like there's an A in there, but it's really kilo. Kilometer. Hecto, we rarely use that. Centi, we use that quite a bit. Milli, we use that quite a bit as well. There's 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter. Micro, there's, again, we said 1 million of those micrometers in 1 meter. And nano, a nanometer, is, look at that, times 10 to the 9th. There's 1 billion nanometers in every meter. So let's use this first warm-up problem as a practice here. It says convert 29 kilometers into centimeters. So in this case right here, we don't have an easy conversion. There's nothing that links kilometers into centimeters. What we have to do is we have to go from kilometers, that unit, into meters, and then from meters into centimeters. So here's how we're going to do it. I'm just going to map that out. I'm going to say we're going to go from kilometers into meters. Oftentimes you have to go through the base unit here for this factor label method. And then from meters, you go into centimeters. This is a hard conversion because normally what we do is we would just convert a kilometer into a meter or a meter into a centimeter. But here, this is a 2-step conversion. So that's why we're going through this. It's a fairly hard conversion to make using this method. Some of you will be tempted just to use decimals, but I want to go through this method so I can show you how to cross things off. I'm going to use a different color to start this off. I'm going to use, let's use bubblegum. So we'll start off with our unit that's given to us. It's 29.1 kilometers. And I want to multiply that by something to get me into meters. Be blank meters. And then I'm going to take those blank meters and I'm going to convert them into centimeters. So whatever those blank meters are, I'll bring them over here. Blank meters times something, and that will get us to our answer in centimeters. So what I'm going to use here, I'm going to use a conversion factor to get me from kilometers into the base unit, meters. And here we can see there's 1 kilometer for every 1,000 meters. So I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to use this thing right here, this equality, to get rid of my kilometers and get me into meters. And the way I do this, I put the kilometers on the bottom, 1 kilometer, and I put the meters on top. There's 1,000 meters on top. So if I multiply this across here, it's 29.1 times 1,000 over 1. That's going to give me 29, 1, this many meters. All right, so now I bring that down over here, 29,100 meters. And I want to go from meters, like I said up here. My original plan was to go from kilometers into meters into centimeters. And here's centimeters. Centimeters, there's 100 centimeters in a meter, so I want to put 1 meter on the bottom to cancel out my meters, and 100 centimeters on top to get me into the units of centimeters. So now I multiply this number by this conversion factor, and I should get the following. I'll put the comma in here. So that's 2,910,000 centimeters. And if you're curious about sig figs here, there are only, you can count them up, 3 sig figs. That's our final answer. I want to just show you that the units do cancel out. There's kilometers on the top and there's kilometers on the bottom. these meters are canceled out over here. So these meters are canceled out. So that way I can cancel these meters out as well. And our final units are going to be centimeters. All right, so that's how to convert. Good luck converting. Bye.